Shallow Hal opens not with a joke, but with a death. The movie begins with Hal's father lying in a hospital bed. He's heavily sedated, barely conscious. The doctors advise against letting the boy see him, but Hal's mother insists. His father means everything to him. More than that, he's a reverend, a moral authority in Hal's life. When the boy finally enters the room, he doesn't recognize how delirious his father is. He listens closely, taking every word seriously, and in this vulnerable moment, Hal's father gives him advice that will shape his entire adult life. Never settle for average, never accept mediocrity, and find a perfect beauty as ordained by God. The father dies, Hal cries, and at 9 years old, Hal makes a promise, not just to succeed, but to live up to a standard he never chose for himself. When the movie jumps ahead to Hal in his 20s, we immediately see the consequences of that moment. Hal struggles with dating. He constantly goes after women who are far out of his league and gets rejected. His co-workers even point out his obvious flaw.
It never occurred to you that picking girls solely on their looks may not be the best way to go
What's
about it?
important here is that Hal isn't cruel, arrogant, or intentionally shallow. He's kind, he's generous, but his attraction operates on autopilot. He doesn't know he's being shallow, because to him, this value system feels natural. That's because it isn't a choice. He inherited it from his father. Hal's life changes when he gets stuck in an elevator with Tony Robbins. During their long conversation, Hal admits that he's picky, admits that he judges women harshly, and admits that his mother believes he was traumatized by his father's death. Tony tells Hal something crucial, that he has a good heart, but he's completely fixated on external appearance. He then hypnotizes Hal, but the movie deliberately keeps the effects vague. Later, when Hal's friend Mauricio confronts Tony Robbins, the truth comes out. Tony didn't remove Hal's shallowness, he altered his perception. Hal had been hypnotized his whole life to focus on the outside, and Tony simply redirected what Hal's mind registers as beautiful. When Mauricio accuses Tony of brainwashing Hal, Tony responds with the central idea of the film. He was already brainwashed. After the hypnosis, Hal suddenly finds himself irresistible to women, but not because he's changed, because the women he's now attracted to are the ones society deems undesirable. Mauricio eventually tells Hal the truth. Unattractive women appear beautiful to him if they have inner beauty. Hal doesn't believe it until he bumps into a woman he once found attractive and fails to recognize her. Only then does he realize that something is wrong. When the hypnosis temporarily breaks, Hal panics. Rosemary's beautiful version disappears. He believes Mauricio ruined everything, but then Hal asks a question that quietly delivers the movie's message. Would it matter if the rest of the world didn't find the woman you love attractive? Mauricio says no. And Hal realizes that's exactly what he had with Rosemary. He saw a knockout, and he didn't care what anyone else saw. Jill rejects Hal early on because she believes attraction needs to exist at the beginning of a relationship. Hal disagrees, claiming attraction often develops later. Ironically, Jill eventually becomes attracted to Hal only after seeing him date women society considers unattractive. She concludes that appearances must not matter to him. That's the joke. Hal never stopped judging by appearance. His values didn't change, only his perception did. Jill falls for him because she thinks he's beyond shallow judgment, when in reality, he's still operating on it completely. Rosemary represents the real cost of society's beauty standards. She's kind, selfless, and compassionate. She volunteers at hospitals and works with the Peace Corps. Yet she has almost no dating experience because most people never get past the visual stage of attraction. Over time, Hal genuinely falls in love with her, but even then he doubts whether love alone is enough. He avoids seeing her. He fears what will happen when perception and reality collide. By the end of the film, Hal's transformation isn't about learning to stop judging people, it's about reclaiming his values. He stops outsourcing his idea of beauty to his father, to society, and to programming that he never consented to. He chooses Rosemary fully, not because she's beautiful to others, but because she's beautiful to him. Shallow Hal isn't about ignoring appearances, it's about recognizing that we already judge people by their appearance. But we can decide what we value and whose standards we live by. The message of the film is that inner beauty is just as important as outer beauty when it comes to finding a partner. Sometimes inner beauty is enough to fall in love with someone that the rest of the world deems as undesirable, and that's beautiful.